I am waking up at 2 AM tomorrow to fly to Sicily. A part of why I'm very excited, aside from the fact I'm going on holiday, is I've been saving up the final installment of My Brilliant Friend to read while I'm in Italy. I read My Brilliant Friend first, I think a year ago, and this summer I read the second and third in very quick succession. I really enjoyed it. I'm so into it. The world is just so rich. I love the characters and I couldn't wait to see what happened next. I'm gonna vlog it. Good morning. We're off to climb Etna.
Silica and metallic material. But what is the main difference between magma and lava? If you want, we can stay here or we can get down there.
Hello.
Finally gonna read some of my book. That was unfortunate when it focused. Yeah, I was gonna show them the stairs. As per usual, we have a very perilous, steep, never-ending flight of stairs. Just continues forever. Okay, so I just went for a run, and as you can see, I'm not used to the heat here, so getting out. Oh, there you go. Oh, gone like the wind. Anyway, back to what I was saying. It was taking a while for me to really get going with this book because I've been on holiday, as you know, and I've been doing a lot of things. I'm sure I'll include those clips in this vid, but I've just been sleeping a lot and eating a lot of food and having a really excellent time. And on the bus journey, the coach journey, where I was like, oh, I'm gonna get so much reading done, I did actually get a bit of reading done, to be fair, but I also watched the first episode of The Secret Life of Mormon Wives. I think this must go off every 15 minutes. 6:05. 6:05 church bell. And only 3 bells. Do we know why? Does anyone know why? I certainly don't. Anyway, I'm now just over 100 pages in. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm kind of unsurprised because this is the last book in the series. Like, so much has happened already, and I'm not surprised that this book hasn't kind of started with a bang. I've been reintroduced to so many characters, which has been really interesting, and it has made me kind of re-appreciate the complexity of this book. So many names are getting dropped in, and as per usual, there's always a part at the beginning that you can kind of refer to that just lays out who everyone is. Like, literally, it like lists all the families and all the people and gives you a little bit of a kind of summary of what their whole vibe is. Apart from that, I'm not terribly excited. I think it's because our focus at the moment, unfortunately, is on romance, and I guess their romances are an important part of their lives, but without spoiling too much, the romance that we're currently focusing on, I am not a fan of the man, and it's kind of depressing me. I'm just a bit of a sucker for characters that I like personally, and if I don't like a character personally, it depends the way in which I don't like the character. They can be a bad person, they can be annoying, but at least be interesting. This one's just a bit like, oh, please can we stop wasting our time with you? So that's what's going on right now, but it's just so quotable. Every few pages there'll be a line where you're like, wow, you've just summarised 1,000 feelings all in one. So yeah, pretty incredible literature. But and what I didn't realise before I went on this holiday, because I know I framed it like, oh, going to Italy to read this book. Obviously I'm going to Italy anyway. It has actually made me feel more immersed in the book, even though I kind of just said that optimistically, slash because I thought it like wrapped up my holiday nicely. But yeah, okay. I've been filming for like 5 minutes and I'm just still as red as I was at the start. Okay, see ya soon. I'm currently on the roof, like the roof. Sorry for the dark footage. So down there is the terrace. Look, see our books are there and our washing. And you go up this, oh god, I'm being bitten by mosquitoes. You go up these spiral stairs and you're on like the roof above the roof. There she is. Landed in Cefalù for the day. Yes. The hike has begun. More bells, always bells. Look at that. That's where we were climbing. Look at this view, guys. Having a lovely time. Reading on the beach. Yeah, I got Matty reading the first one. Yes. Enjoying it so far?
Yeah. 50 pages in. You enjoying your book?
I am, yeah. It's weird though, like you talking about the stuff happening in that one. It reminds me of how like, I don't know, the childhood, when you're first meeting the characters, there's like a real magic to it. Whereas now everyone's like really jaded. But yeah, it's different. Hello, I am about halfway through and I'm really enjoying myself and finding it very easy to pick up. I really do feel like I'm just eating up the pages. Our focus is back to being on the friendship, though, which is my fave, and some pretty unexpected, interesting things have happened. This book is very dramatic but very believable, and that's cool. What I find really interesting about these books is that they're all very distinct. On one hand, if you sewed them all together and just read them as one, it would probably be kind of hard to tell like where one ends and another begins. They truly just like pick up immediately after the end of the last one. But then on the other hand, there are just quite sort of different vibes to them, different tones, and it feels like the focus of each is pretty distinct. And this one's taken a bit of our main character, for me personally, she's taken a bit of a disappointing turn, but I respect the decision, you know, not her decisions, they're terrible, but the author's decision. But yeah, other than that, I do actually anticipate finishing this at least by the time I land back in the UK, maybe before I leave here. But yeah. Okay, we're gonna go watch a football game. Live. The beginning of the hike. It's the football stadium. Not the panorama we were promised.
Chloe's being really grumpy, by the way, gang.
Oh, flashing bush. At a rooftop bar. Hey guys, I'm back home, in case you didn't realise, and I did manage to finish this book. I finished it on the flight, which was a bit of a cheat because the flight's 3 hours, so it's the perfect time to finish a book. Although I have to say I finished the last book in this series, like the book before this, on a flight as well, so it kind of felt right to treat this on the same. I know I've said that I love a lot of books, and I do love a lot of books, but there is something very specific about the way that I love this series. I mean, first of all, it's just 5 out of 5, 6 out of 5 stars. Like, I will always recommend these books, but I think for me, I'm someone who loves Bildungsromans, which is a word that I don't know if I've said it out loud, and I also love the word Bildungsromans. Like, ever since I learned it, it's a cool word. For those who don't know, it means coming of age stories, like novels that are about formative years. So I love that type of story anyway, and not only are these just excellent books regardless of what genre they sit in, but they are also Bildungsromans. So we've got this double whammy. They just sit in a really, really special place in my heart. I think I also love these books because of how well we get to know our main character and, well, the two main characters, like the two women girls that we kind of spend time with through reading this series are just so complex and so beautifully written. I think, you know, each book standalone is so beautiful. I would never be able to put them in an order of which I prefer, because in each one we just like learn about these people changing and about them having these like layers added to who they are. Our main person, Elena, especially in this book, she was someone that I kind of loved. She's always been flawed, but in this book she really became a lot more selfish, in my opinion, and just generally unlikable. But it was so important, I think, and so powerful to have that final book keep me on my toes, to remind me that like this person that I've been romanticizing, and well, these two people that I've kind of been forgiving quite relentlessly, you know, they're gonna push those boundaries. They're gonna continue to try to make me stop loving them. So it was a really interesting way to end the story. I can't imagine writing the final installment of a story like this, but Elena Ferrante managed to somehow surprise me in a way that was very believable, but also in a way that I kind of didn't like. But then that surprise, it was executed really well, and I was just there for the whole ride. And I closed this book, you know, read the last page, and I felt a true sense of grief. I know the characters, and I've really kind of been on a journey with them in a way that no other book has done that for me. I'm definitely gonna read the whole series every 10 years or so. I'm approaching my 30th year. It's a few years away still, but maybe I'll read this every, you know, towards the end of each decade of my life, because I also think that it'll be a really cool opportunity to reflect on like how I've changed, and it'll help me understand myself a bit more and help me understand how I've changed, how my perceptions of the characters change, and like who I sympathize with more, or who I'm siding with more. I think that'll be a really cool little test that I'm gonna do on myself. I also do think what's fun about this book, and I think often the best books are like this, is that I want everyone to read it, but I can imagine myself trying to tell people to read it and trying to explain what the book's about and explain this book to people. It's basically about two women growing up their whole lives, and it's also about the community they grow up in, and all of the the community dramas, and all those people, their contemporaries, who also grew up with them. And describing it, it feels so basic, but I think that's what's so cool, is that the power is in how it's written, and how well these characters are constructed, and just that intangible, you know, that it factor, like how the story makes you feel. It was so cool to be in Italy while reading this book. Italian people, this is definitely just my ignorance, but the caricature of like Italians interacting with each other and all the gesticulations and just the tone, as someone who doesn't speak Italian, like it's so true. Like there's such an exaggerated, beautiful, like melodic way of speaking, and it really reminded me that I need to become fluent in Italian so that I can read these books in their original language. Also, the person next to me on the plane has read the first book, and she said she watched the series and she loved the series, and the series is apparently in Italian with English subtitles, which I think is definitely the only way it should have been, kind of for the reasons that I've alluded to. And I'm extremely excited to watch the series because I sort of think I will get, like, I don't think I'm gonna sit there grumpily being like, the book's so much better, because it does sound like this series is really good, and I kind of do want to see it, you know, come to life visually. But yeah, I think I'm gonna need to let Matty back into this room. But thank you for watching. Thank you for following along with the journey. Have a lovely evening. Have a lovely rest of week, day. Hope you had a lovely week. I'll see you later.